Apologies once again for starting this meeting late. Let us pray. Our God and our Father, we thank you for yet another opportunity to learn. We ask the Lord you help us to apply. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. It's another beautiful time out with Coach Chioma Perpetual. And we are looking at livestock in Homestead, a comprehensive guide in integrating livestock for a sustainable homestead. What are we going to be looking at today? We're going to be looking at contents such as a brief review of what homestead farming is. We're going to actually look at livestock and types of livestock. We're going to look at what livestock in homestead is all about and the role of livestock in homestead. Finally, we're going to be looking at factors to consider in choosing a livestock for our homestead farms. I'm sure we're ready to go, right? You're welcome, Okafo Nwabude, VN, Njoko, and Engineer Chukwemeka Shinweze. Okay, let's look at this picture. When we look at this picture, what comes to our mind? This is a fish pond. These are chickens and this kind of, I love this environment. Like, I love this kind of environment. See that building there? This is a complete homestead. Look at the other part of it. In this place, you find out that there are livestock here and there are also crops growing here. Okay, so this is just to create an image of what livestock in homestead is. I'm going to be asking us some questions. This is an interactive section, okay? I'm going to be asking us some questions and you can drop your answers. If you have an answer, you can just indicate by raising your hand, or you can use the chat. You can type in the chat. Okay. Barrister Kingsley, you are welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. That's the way to announcement.
You are welcome. Peter Garden, you are welcome. Mr. Emmanuel Ube, you are welcome. Welcome, everyone. So here we go. I want to ask us some questions. And the first one is this. Does a cock crow in your house? If it does, you can just raise your hand and answer, or you can drop the answer in the chat. Does a cock crow in your house? What about the bleating of goats? When last did you hear that in your home? Can we hear some lowing sound like moo of a cow in your house? How about the bleating of a sheep? If you have any of these things happening in your home, you can just say yes or no. Okay? What about the grumbling sound of turkeys? Are they being heard in your home? The noisy grunts, booms, chatters, and squares that fishes make. Do we hear them in your home? Now, if I come to your house and I listen carefully, is it possible for me to hear the oink and the grunt sound of pigs around your homes? Now, the reason I am asking this question is because sounds indicates the presence or the absence of livestock in your home. And all these are indications of livestock in a homestead. When we're talking about livestock, what do we mean? What do we mean? What do we want to achieve? When we talk about livestock in homestead, a lot of us, this is our first time of attending this meeting. And as such, I'm going to be introducing what homestead is to us. Now, what is homestead? Homestead is a method of agriculture that involves the growing of plants and animals at home. The focus of homestead, as already established in our previous series, isn't about selling and making profits. Okay? It's not about selling and learning products, having enough food for the home, and of course, seeing how this can translate to huge savings in the family fund. You know why? Because when you are able to source most of what you need to eat in your home, you know, from spending in the market. If you have your vegetables, if you have your yams, if you have your palm oil, you wouldn't need to go to the market to get this thing. Simply get them. And so, when we're talking about livestock, what is livestock? Livestock are simply animals that we keep or raise for two major purposes: the purpose of pleasure and or making profit. And basically, these things are kept at home. Since our focus is homestead, livestock are simply animals we raise.
Good afternoon.
For use and for making profit. Okay. Types of livestock that we can rear. We can rear various types of livestock at home. Okay. Livestock such as poultry. We can rear poultry at home. Kindly mute yourselves, okay? Kindly mute yourselves so that we'll not be having noise at the background. So,
is okay
we can
now,
rear poultry at home. We can rear poultry such as broilers, layers, turkeys. We can rear things like goats, cows, sheep, pig, rabbit, fish, snails. Any of these things, we can rear them as these are the common types of livestock we can rear around us. Okay. And so, if you're going to rear any of these things, the first question you'll be asking yourself is, why should I rear livestock at all? Why should I bother rearing it at all? What is the role of livestock in homestead? The major reasons, some of the major reasons we rear livestock are this. Number one, for its products. In livestock, we can get products like meat, milk, eggs, wool, leather. You know, when we're able to source these things at home, it will help us to meet our various dietary needs and other household needs. Another reason why we should rear livestock is for resilience and self-sufficiency. Livestock can help us to enhance our sufficiency. How? By providing a reliable source of food and other products. And this will help to reduce our dependency on external sources. So sometimes you may not have all the money, but you can get to your backyard, you can pick a fish from the fish pond, or you can pick one of the chickens that are roaming around your garden, get vegetables or get the snails. And you are making a delicious meal, delicious and healthy meal for your family. Another reason why we need to rear livestock is for nutrient recycling and fertilization. In our previous series, we've talked about livestock and we measured on growing vegetables. Now, when you incorporate livestock into those vegetables garden, what will happen is that the livestock will help to contribute to the nutrient cycle. How? By converting the organic matter into valuable manure. If you look at this picture, you will see a livestock here. We have our goats, we have our cow here. They're excrete. can be turned to manure and then can be added to our land to increase the fertility of our land. And this will help our crops to grow, and then it will turn back to feed for this livestock. You see the circle balance. And that's why livestock in homestead can aid biodiversity and ecosystem health. By integrating livestock into a homestead ecosystem, we can contribute to its biodiversity. How? When we manage our livestock well, we can have positive impact. We can have positive impact on our health and balance the overall ecosystem. Okay. More reasons why we need to rear livestock in our homestead is that it aids for sustainable agriculture. Yes, it aids for sustainable agriculture. Livestock, when managed properly, can be rated. Integrated into farming practices, as we can see in our previous slide. Now, these animals can graze on pasture land and therefore reduce the need for us to add chemical input and naturally promoting the nutrient cycling. Another reason why livestock is important in our homestead is that it helps for weed and pest control. How, right? How does livestock help in our weed and pest control? Now, see how it happens. Certain types of livestock, like chickens, ducks, they're effective at foraging for insects. Now, when our chickens begin to forage in our crops, like we have our corn and they're infested with insects, the chicken and the ducks will begin to forage on these insects. And this is a natural pest control method. And this will help to reduce the need for chemical interventions. And when I say that another reason for us to rear livestock is for companionship and emotional well-being, I'm sure a lot of us can identify with this, right? Because, when we come out of our house in the morning and see our livestock feeding, chatting, making those noises, it gives us a kind of special joy. If you can relate what I'm saying, say, I can relate in the chats. Personally, I derive a lot of joy when I come out and I see my chickens, I see the goats, I see them feeding and they're eating well and they're just making us, it gives a kind of special joy, and I'm sure this is a reason. Okay, Esheta Shinwe, you want to tell us something? Can you relate with this? Please go ahead, unmute yourself and tell us. Can you relate with this aspect of these aspects of the reason why we rear livestock at home? All right. So one of the major reasons why we rear livestock in homestead is for the purpose of companionship and emotional well-being. I know a number of my friends that can relate to this. Livestock can provide companionship, seriously, and a sense of purpose for homesteaders. Now, many people find caring for animals to be fulfilling and emotionally rewarding. True or true? Sure. Yes. You see? And that is the truth. That's the truth. And I'm sure a whole lot of us have that feeling. Chukwudi says that sure he have had that feeling. That's true. When we rear livestock, find that it gives us a sense of emotional well-being. It helps us feel, it gives a special kind of joy. When you come out and you're seeing the pigs, doing their things, you're seeing the chickens, you're seeing the goats doing their things. It's awesome. Chinwe, you can go ahead and tell us what you want to tell us. Your hand is still raised. Okay. Now, the last purpose of rearing livestock, which I put here, or the reason why we may be rearing livestock, is that of income generation. The truth is that livestock can be a source of income for homesteaders. The first picture I shared is that of a place I went. I went to a friend's place to take chickens earlier this week. And I was so excited when I got to their home. I could see chickens, I could see goats, I could see fish, I could see just everything, cassava, vegetables, and these livestock, they're just moving everywhere and they were having fun. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So, and not only are they having access to this meat and eggs, dairy, and other things, they are also making their money. They're generating income by keeping these things at home. So it can serve as an additional source of revenue. And of course, you will agree with me that if you can rear livestock at home, you'll be saving a whole lot of money. Okay, you'll be saving a whole lot of money. Imagine saving, even if it's just 6,000 naira every week from buying chicken. That is huge. That is huge. Okay. Now, if you are thinking of starting a livestock for your homestead, there are some factors you must consider. Yes, there are some factors you must deliberately consider. Because the idea of this webinar is to inspire us into starting something for ourselves, into starting our own homestead. And we have already agreed that until we begin to have something for ourselves at home, until we begin to plant our own vegetables, until we begin to make our own livestock, rear our livestock, we're yet to become food sufficient. So the journey to food sufficiency is to having your own homestead. Now, if you are thinking of choosing a livestock for your homestead, you must consider these following factors. The first factor you must consider is one, what is your purpose of raising this livestock? You must determine your primary purpose. Is your purpose to make money? Is it to make meat? Is it to get eggs? Is it for companionship? Are you primarily interested in any of this? Now, different animals are suited to different purposes. The second factor you must consider is your available resources. You must need to sit down and assess the resources you have available, including the feed, the water, the shelter, the health care. In fact, one of my friends who is an Agric engineer is working on building cages that we can keep in our home, no matter how small the space is, so that we can rear our own chicken there, even if you're living in a flat, and it will be clean. So you must consider the available resource you have. You must ensure that you can meet the basic needs of any chosen livestock species you choose to rear rear in your homestead. The third factor that you must consider is the available space you have. Now, different animals have varying space requirements. You agree with me? If you want to rear goats, you must consider you have enough space for that. If you want to rear chicken, chicken can be reared even in your kitchen. Yeah. So you must consider the space you have. Okay, so choose spaces that can comfortably fit within your homestead. Another factor to consider is your budget and economic consideration. Okay, determine the budget you have for acquiring and caring for your livestock. Consider things like your initial cost, how much are you going to use to start off, ongoing expenses, and the potential income that will be generated from these animals. You need to consider this, very important. Okay. The fifth factor is that you must look at the local climate and the environment. Consider the climate and the environmental condition of your location. Now, certain livestock species are better suited to specific climates. So you choose animals that can thrive in your local environment. Okay, let me look at the charts. Yes, that's true. That's true. Engineer Mekashiweze says a cock crow announces the start of a new day. And that's true. How many of us have noticed that? The first cock crow happens around 1 a.m. and the second one happens around 4 a.m. I remember when Jesus told Peter before the first cock crow, the second cock crow, that he would have denied him 3 times. Okay, so these things are significant. These things are really, really significant. So you must consider the local climate. What is the climate of your location? There are some certain livestock species that are better suited to specific climates. So you need to choose animals that can thrive in your local environment. Okay? I hope we're following. If you're following, say, yes, I'm following.
Yes, I'm following.
Great. And finally, we must look at the time commitment. We must be realistic about the amount of time we can devote to caring for our livestock. The truth is that, yes, if we're going to care for anything, it takes time. So we must be realistic about the amount of time we want to devote to caring for our livestock. Some species may require more time and attention than others. Okay, like if you're rearing fish, it's easy for you to wake up in the morning, put the feed for them, then in the afternoon or evening, you feed them again. Okay, things like goats, you ensure that you get its feed ready, or you make sure they have places they can graze around. Okay, so time commitment is paramount if you're going to go into livestock, in your homestead. If you want to incorporate livestock into your homestead, you must, be realistic about the amount of time you want to devote to caring for your livestock. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, finally, livestock at home is simply a return to the Garden of Eden as God has made it from the beginning. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? You can unmute yourself and say yes, you agree, or no, you don't agree. Livestock at home is simply a return to the Garden of Eden. How? Because that is how God has made it from the beginning. When God created the plants, he put the animals, and then he put man. That's how God made it. So what does it mean? If you don't have livestock around you, you're not in the Garden of Eden. And of course, not in tune with nature. So we're going to look at this equation. Livestock plus our garden plus our home is equals to what? Garden of Eden. And that is how God made it. If you agree, say yes, I agree. Right. This is a time for questions. If you have questions, you can ask. I try to make this webinar as short as possible so that it can be quite interactive and we can ask our questions. And of course, we can go back to our various engagements. It's a weekend. Okay. So ask your questions. If you ask questions, you can ask. Are some of us wanting to start up our own, homestead? Do you have a homestead? The last time we came, I told us to go start up a homestead. How many of us did started one? If you did, say yes, I did. If you didn't, say no, I didn't. And then you tell me when you're going to start yours. Okay. And if you agree that
yes, I did.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Who else did? Yes, Chioma agrees with me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who else did? So if you have questions, you can ask. If you have questions, you can ask. Now is our time for questions and answers. Simply raise your hand or just unmute yourself and ask, or you can type in the chat. Okay. We're listening. Any questions? So we believe we agree that we are going to incorporate livestock into our homesteads, right? So which of them are you going to start with? Tell me. Tell me which of them are you starting with? How many of us like this picture?
I'm doing good.
Great. Great.
I'm doing good.
Okay. Engineer Chukwuemeka Chinweze, are you saying something?
Yes, I said I'm doing good. Good.
Oh, you're doing good. Awesome. Awesome. That's great. You're doing good in your home. You're rearing goats in your home. Can we know how many goats do you have in your homestead?
About 40.
How many?
About 40.
40 goats. That's huge. You intend to actually make money too from that, right?
Oh, sure, yes.
Great, great, great. We're encouraged. Yes. We're encouraged. Who else have a homestead here? Or who else wants to start a homestead? Okay. If you have a homestead, you can type in the chat or you can unmute yourself and say, I have, this is what I rear in my home. You know, if we're going to have a food sufficient society, it must start with us. We must go back to our homes. We must learn to begin to grow something in our home, even if it's just vegetables. And then we can decide to incorporate, even if it's snail. Next week, okay, VN and Joku is raising the hand. You can unmute yourself and tell us what you want to tell us, sir.
Yes, I'm rearing poultry.
Thank you. Can you speak louder?
I said I have poultry at home.
Okay.
Yes, poultry.
I find difficult to hear.
Poultry.
Okay.
Poultry.
Okay, sir, if it's possible, you can type in the chat, okay, so that we can hear you clearly. If it's possible. I couldn't get that, I couldn't hear you clearly. All right. All right. So our assignment today is to go back home and start up a homestead, incorporate livestock into your homestead, snap a picture of it, and you can drop it in you can drop the picture. Wow, awesome, awesome, awesome. VN Jockey says he has a poultry at home. This is good. Wow, 250 birds. I'm sure he's doing business. I will need to get your contact, sir. Okay, because I am an off-taker. I off-take birds. Okay, this is good. This is good. I'm dropping my email so that you can contact me after now, pimpfarmlimited@gmail.com. You can contact me after now. Maybe with the pictures of your homestead, we can share it Yes, we can share the picture of your own homestead in our next Agric Inspire webinar. Okay, kindly drop your contacts to Mr. VN Njoku so that I can contact you after now for subsequent deals. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I appreciate this. Thanks so much for your time. Right, I got this. Thank you so very much for your time. In the absence of any further question, we're going to be calling today this month's webinar series a success. And I'm hoping to see you all next month. But before then, make sure you start your own homestead, incorporate a livestock. By next month's webinar, we're going to be talking about poultry, how we can start up poultry, incorporate poultry into our homestead. Until then, bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.